And we are back on Capitol Tonight. County clerks are speaking out against a new Department of Motor Vehicles policy that went into effect this week. The new policy means that you don't have to take an eye test anymore to renew your license. In fact, you can take care of the entire process online. No DMV lines at all. Now, clerks say that eliminating the vision requirement will allow unsafe drivers onto the road. They are also concerned about the financial fallout for county budgets. If you renew your license in person, the county keeps a portion of the licensing fee. If you do it online, the entire fee goes to the state. Joining me now from Rochester to discuss this issue is Monroe County Clerk Cheryl Donalfo. Cheryl, it is great to see you.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks for having me on the show today.
So there's a lot going on here, but just generally, your main concern, it sounds to me, is safety. Is that right?
It is absolutely correct, Liz. The main concern with the new DMV policy is safety. This is a public safety issue, and the new rule by the state DMV really jeopardizes the safety of every motorist and pedestrian here in New York State.
It's actually now, if I choose to go into the DMV and do this in person, would I have to take the vision exam still to renew my license?
No, you would not. Under the new regulation by the state of New York, even if you came into a DMV office, you are not required to take the vision test. You would self-certify that your vision is 20/40. And quite frankly, we find that to be disconcerting from a public safety issue. Every day we see people come in our office who are good, upstanding citizens. They want to do the right thing, and there are a number of people who come in and are completely unaware that they have vision problems. And so that eye test really is a safety check and helps people do the right thing, continue to do the right thing, get their vision taken care of, and then get their driver's license renewed.
Yeah, the idea here, and also we should just remind viewers, this doesn't have to do with commercial licenses. Those folks actually still need to get, I think, a professional exam. Am I wrong about that? A doctor's exam?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Well, that's right, Liz. The federal government is continuing to require that CDL drivers, commercial drivers, have their vision tested for renewal purposes and obviously for licensing purposes as well. And so that's an interesting point that you bring up. Even the federal government realizes that seeing is obviously a requirement for driving a vehicle, and they are continuing with the requirement while the state DMV is not.
It seems a little odd, though. So, I mean, certainly an 18-wheeler is a much larger car, but a larger vehicle, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, you've got some SUVs out there on the road that are quite large, and that it seems to me you would need very good vision, certainly, in order to operate anything, be it a Vespa or a bicycle, which you don't need to get eye tested for, right, or, I don't know, a Humvee.
Well, that's right, Liz. You know, this is an issue that really covers many, many bases. It's not just county clerks who are completely outraged at the change in the requirement. We're hearing from the medical profession, optometrists, we're hearing from public safety, law enforcement. Our customers are coming in, and they're quite concerned and upset because they know that public safety is #1. And so we are really urging that the state DMV rescind their decision that they announced on Monday and reinstate the vision test requirement for all renewals.
We should also note that New York is not alone. There are actually 6 other states, including Connecticut and Pennsylvania, that do it this way. Also, this is not the first time. Between 1993 and 2000, the state did not require an eye exam for renewal. So this isn't new. The point here, I believe, is My DMV. It's this new effort to make things easier for people. Look, I don't mean to offend you, but going to the DMV is not the most exciting and enjoyable experience necessarily.
Well, let me just point out, I think something that has really been misstated. Here in New York State, between 1993 and 2000, in fact, if you came into an office, you were still required to take a test. So that self-certification policy only applied to mail-in renewals, not to those who came in the office. So when we hear the state DMV saying, well, look, we had this situation before and everything was fine, that really is not completely accurate, because during that time frame, many people were coming into the DMV offices and they were required to take an eye test. So that was a long-standing requirement. And then in 2000, even those folks who were mailing in their renewals and were self-certifying in that small number of years, that policy was reverted as well to everyone having to have an eye exam or certification from a medical provider.
But what about the idea that the push here is to make things easier for DMV customers?
Right. Right. Well, you know, county clerks throughout the state of New York are very customer friendly and customer oriented. And, you know, as I've said over and over again, technology and customer service and public safety can all coexist. And what we have here is really that the state DMV is saying that this is a push for better customer service and helping out the customers, but they're doing so at the peril of the motorists and the pedestrians in the state of New York. They're putting pedestrians, motorists at risk. They're disregarding safety concerns and wrapping it all up and trying to sell it as a customer service package, when in fact the overriding concern should be the safety of the public.
There's also a financial component here, and you guys, Monroe County stands to lose $375,000 potentially, is the estimate that I'm seeing here. 12% of the $64.50 fee when you go to renew goes to the counties now, but if you do it all online because the counties are taken out of the equation, that all goes to the state. So it seems like sort of a revenue diversion plan at a time when the state, of course, is looking for new revenue. I mean, how much of that is playing into your opposition?
Well, again, our opposition is based on public safety concern. On Monday, when clerks from throughout New York State were gathered together for a meeting, the state DMV did come to the meeting and did tell us about this plan to eliminate the vision tests for renewals. At the end of the meeting, they left the meeting and they handed the county clerks a revenue impact statement, so it showed county by county for those counties that operate DMVs, which are mainly upstate counties, what the revenue impact would be on them. Now, I have to question why that statement was handed out at the end of the meeting. To me, I believe that although the state is saying that this is a customer service piece that they're providing to residents in New York State, I think what they're really looking at is how to get more revenue out of counties and divert that revenue to the state of New York. And that's really unfortunate because, as you pointed out, a license renewal costs $64.50. If you do business in a county that operates a DMV, 12.7% of that license renewal stays in that county. And I guess the question that I would ask is, $8.19 going to the state really worth it? Are we going to jeopardize, as the state of New York, the state DMV, going to jeopardize the safety of motorists, pedestrian, children in this state for $8.19?
You know, in the past, DMV issues have provided flashpoints for, I can think of two past problems for administrations. The first, of course, was the illegal immigrants' driver's licenses, which was a huge problem for former Governor Eliot Spitzer. The clerks rose up. It was huge. It was national. He had to drop it. The federal government got involved. Then we had the changing of license plate design, and that was a problem for David Patterson. He backed off that. Will this be similar? Do you believe there will be legal action? Will the clerks band together? We've seen some major movement. Is this similar to that?
Well, you know, I'm hopeful that since this issue has now been brought to light of the real safety concerns of the program that was announced by the state DMV, by the commissioner of the DMV, that people will regroup and rethink the decision that was made. And I am hopeful that the commissioner of the state DMV rescinds her prior decision and that eye tests are now going to be reinstated for renewals.
But it doesn't sound like you're ruling it out. I mean, it seems like perhaps not as...
I think...
Continue.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, you know, it's about doing the right thing. County clerks throughout the state of New York have always been about doing what is right for the constituents and the people of the state of New York. And this is no different from any other issue. The issue came to us on Monday. We talked about the issue, we looked at the issue, and we are reacting to the issue as duly elected officials trying to do the right thing. There's a great public safety concern here, and we are urging legislators to take the same position. In fact, many are. I know that there is a bill that has been drafted by Assemblyman Rylick, and I think the Senate is looking to do the same thing. We have law enforcement, medical professions, everyday people reaching out and saying, hey, this decision is the wrong decision. We need to do what's right for the citizens of the state of New York and for public safety. And I am hopeful that the state administration, that the state commissioner of the DMV will also do the right thing and rescind her prior decision.
Just before I let you go, you've mentioned a couple of times during this interview timing. There were some folks, your colleagues, who suggested that they weren't adequately warned that this was going to happen, or then they weren't consulted that this was going to be a new policy. Can you just speak to that? Is that indeed the case?
Yes, Liz, it is the case. As I mentioned, we were all together as clerks on a Monday, and the state DMV was invited to come and talk to us, and they did. There was no real agenda as to what they were going to speak about, and they did provide an update. The commissioner provided an update, and it was during that update that it was announced that the vision requirements were going to change as of Wednesday, so it would be 2 days later. And as soon as they left the meeting, the press release, as you know, went out announcing the decision. And interestingly, the documents that you would use to renew your license or to get a license, the MV44, is what you fill out to get your license or renew it, had a print date of 5/11, which would mean that obviously this was thought about for quite a long time in order to prepare that document, to print that document, and to circulate that document. And contained in the document is the self-certification for vision. So obviously this is something that the state DMV has been thinking about for a while, and unfortunately it was shared with the county clerks on Monday. And which is really too bad. I mean, if it was a more collaborative process and we had an opportunity to vet these concerns and the public had the opportunity to vet these concerns, perhaps the result that we have now could have been avoided.
Well, I'm pretty sure we haven't heard the end of this because these issues tend to be very controversial. We will be obviously staying on it. I want to thank you in the meantime, County Clerk Cheryl D'Onofrio. It's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.